I'm the founder of redefine, which is a startup company stationed at Hyderabad in India. So today I would like to give a small video on the applications of 3D printing technology for pharmacy as well as Ayurvedic sciences. So on the left hand side you can see our prototype printer using semisolid extrusion technology. While watching the video, you can also listen to my presentation. Our company is recognized by MSME and Startup India as well as National Center for Additive Manufacturing. You can see the major problem. What is the problem statement here is that children and elderly patients and those patients with dysphagia, that means unable to swallow. So all these people, all these patients suffer a lot while taking the medication, especially those with chronic diseases. Children is supposed to or she is supposed to take a medication every day. She is very much reluctant to take the medication because taking a tablet could be painful, difficult to swallow, bad taste or bitter taste, whatever. And similarly, when you go for elderly patients, they due to their poor eyesight and dyslexic issues, they cannot take proper medication in a proper time, and instead suppose they are on the poly drug medication. In that case, they miss the one or the other medication, that resulting in the improper therapy. So this can be solved by giving an edible form with a different flavor, on-demand medication, and adjusting the dose, accurate dose that will give proper results. One is that it will reduce the adverse drug reactions, and secondly, therapeutic adherence can be improved. So the time taken for the treatment can be reduced. This is how 3D printing is coming into the picture. There is a study mentioning that medication adherence and acceptability can be improved by patient-centric dosage forms. Here, how a 3D printer works. You are already watching on the left-hand side how the 3D printer is working. So it is putting the material layer by layer until it builds the desired shape and size. So first, initially, we have to make in the software. We have to make a CAD model, 3D CAD model. Then STL file is generated. Then it will be fed to the slicing software where it will slice how many layers it has supposed to print. Then it is given to the printer for printing command. Then you will find finally the product. Here you can see in the form of with respect to the pharmaceutical 3D printing. So tablet is made in the computer using 3D software, then a slicing took place, and then it is printed in the using these four important technologies that are very popular for pharmaceutical sciences as well as drug sciences. You can see here fusion deposition modeling is a very popular machine which is there in the market, very economical, but the limitations is that you cannot put more than 10% of the medication. So and also there is a plastics are involved like polylactic acid, and heating is also involved around 200 degrees where the drug could be degraded. So it is almost obsolete now. No one is working with this technology. There comes the semisolid extrusion technology, which has become more popular in the recent times. So based on that only, we designed this machine. The machine what you are watching is only prototype. The original model you can see in the later slides. They're using a semi-solid material or a paste-like material which contains the drug. We can pour the material on the platform in the form of various dosage forms. There comes the third one is laser-based 3D printing, where laser is impinged onto the powder in the desired shape to congeal the powder to make a solid object. But it is very expensive. It's not easy to implement in the pharmacy at this moment. Coming to inkjet printing, this is also very popular technology. In commercial manufacturing of 3D printed medications, this inkjet printing technology is popularly used nowadays. So they take a layer of powder, then they spray the binder solution, and again they put the solid material. So ultimately, which builds the like a 3D shape in the form of a tablet or any other shape. You can see the different shapes and sizes and colors of the different research that has been taken place in this field. So these are the technologies which we discussed in the previous slide. This is the fused deposition modeling. This machine you might have seen in the Google. If you type 3D printing machine, only this kind of machines you can see, where the plastic material will fall in the form of molten mass, and it will be solidified after deposition. So there are some advantages in the drug research. One is the rapid prototyping of drug excipient combinations. So in the formulation development in the industry, 3D printing can be employed to reduce the time by doing rapid prototyping. It will reduce the time span, as well as it will also reduce the manpower. It will reduce the material wastage. There comes on-demand formulation optimization with minimal materials. That means because 3D printing is on-demand process, whenever a patient needs, we will manufacture. So there is no need of bulk manufacturing and put it in the market and waiting for the drug medicine to be sold. So you can, whenever you want, you can manufacture on the spot and give it to the patient. That's why this 3D printing in pharmaceuticals is also called decentralized manufacturing. So where decentralized manufacturing means several printers are there in pharmacies, and the drug manufacturing takes place on an individual basis. So polypills also can be manufactured. That means more than one drug, and personalization of the dose is possible with 3D printing. There comes the early stage of development, and that is a clinical trial stage, where medicines are given to the patients in the phase 1 clinical trials. For example, where we need only few tablets. So, but manufacturing of tablet takes at least 1 lakh tablets they have to manufacture and give it to the small number of patients, and remaining tablets can be wasted. So that can be reduced. That time can be reduced by doing clinical trials using 3D printed medications. And of course, 3D printing uses very less material, and it is very cost effective. Here, this canvas will explain you how applications of 3D printing in pharmacy. So mass production is already there in the market. There is a company called Aprecia Pharmaceuticals. This Aprecia Pharmaceuticals is manufacturing levetiracetam tablets, which are fast dispersible tablets. It has become a very big market for the Aprecia Pharmaceuticals. And there comes the second, the most important thing for us, especially for allopathic and as well as Ayurvedic physicians or Ayurvedic pharmacists. Automatic compounding is the 3D printing of 3D, using 3D printing in compounding pharmacy. That means, as I said, you take the materials and prepare and give it to the patient in the form of individualized medication. And on-demand personalization also, I said, whenever we need, then only we can do manufacturing. There comes in veterinary science, it is used popularly. Also in drug development, like clinical trials, even in preclinical trials, it can be used. So the small animals like mouse can be given very small doses in the form of very small tablets, even 1 millimeter diameter. When it comes to the, another interesting applications, that is space missions, even war fields, emergency care, and other disaster areas, we can deploy the 3D printers and raw materials so that they can manufacture on their own. So 3D printing will increase the solubility, it will improve the accuracy, and dosage specific parameters like dose can be adjusted. Then comes unique dosage form on demand. So whenever you want a unique dosage forms like gummies, you can see on the left side a heart-shaped oral film is there. So that can be manufactured. And there comes clinical trials. In the clinical trials also, they can adjust the doses, as well as give minimum number of formulations, minimum number of tablets to the patients in the phase 1 clinical trials. And microdosing is also possible, and of course it is a non-contact process. That's why 3D printing is very popular in compounding. You can see here a conventional compounding process on the left side, using 3D printing technology on the right side. So dosing errors are possible, taste you cannot alter much, and it is a manual compounding where manual intervention is there, so dosing errors is much common. Whereas in using 3D printer, the dose is very accurate, and it is child friendly. That means you can make gummies kind of formulations or oral films like formulations, and it is a semi-automatic compounding. So in a typical setup, if you can observe here, a patient goes to the physician, whether it is Ayurvedic or allopathic medication, allopathic hospital. Then he will or she will undergo the diagnostics tests, various tests based on the body condition and their things. A prescription is generated and it is evaluated by the clinical pharmacist. Then clinical pharm based on his report and preferences by the patient, designing will take place. Suppose I want in the form of a cookies. So cookie design will take place and it will be printed containing the drug and it is given to the patient. These are some interesting research work conducted in the recent years. So many formulations are manufactured and published in the impact journals. Why it is required in Ayurveda? Definitely, it is very important because Ayurvedic and other traditional systems of medicine, they prefer in non-commercial formulations. That means they do personal medications or compounding on the spot in front of the patient. So if we implement 3D printer in this process, 3D printer could be more useful for Ayurvedic doctors, Ayurvedic physicians, as well as other traditional systems of medicine physicians compared to allopathic medicines. You can see you're well aware that based on individual constitution and body weight and other factors, the dose will be adjusted, and we can make precise dosage forms exactly, and then on demand production. Whenever we want production, then only we can do production. Suppose you want 100 tablets, you can do 100. You want 1000, you can make only 1000 tablets. Instead of in the conventional process, they manufacture about 1 lakh tablet, 2 lakh tablets, 10 lakh tablets. Otherwise it's not viable there for them. There comes potential applications in Ayurveda. We can make customized herbal tablets and capsules like personalized tablets, control release tablets. There is some publication of ashwagandha tablets recently. There comes Ayurvedic topical patches and creams also can be manufactured, like a transdermal patch you can make, and shape can be adjusted for the patch. So all this can be done. So there is a work on neem and turmeric patches using 3D printing for acne treatment, and we can make multi-layered